SCP-110, Object Class, Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. The entrance to SCP-110 is to remain closed off at all times unless otherwise permitted by O5-Redacted. The land covering 110, roughly 6 square kilometers, to be developed into a suburban area that will not attract the attention of the general public. Any movement that 110 might make is to be explained as minute seismic activity. Further complaints are to be ignored. Description: 110 is an entire city that was found buried 5 kilometers underneath a large farm in Data Expunged, New York. Survey Teams 2 and 3 concluded that the amount of surface area that the city is buried under covers approximately 6 square kilometers. Numerous times the high interest have been discovered within 110 and will henceforth be labeled as 110XX. Known history of 110. November 8th, this is from the UK. 11/8/1900, redacted. A large earthquake occurs in rural New York, far from any city centers. The only casualties were a man and his dog, so no significant media attention was given to the event. 15/9/19, redacted. Minor earthquakes continue to occur in 110's general area. The U.S. federal government dispatches a team of geologists to site to determine the cause. Results come back inconclusive. 16/05/19, redacted. SCP Evacuation Team 03 is ordered to investigate the site. Upon arrival, the team is greeted by SCP-110-01, who is then detained and moved to Data Expunged for further questioning. 24/5/19, redacted. Information gained from SCP-110-01 and SCP-Redacted reveal that there has been a large temporary disturbance in the area of SCP-110 that has been causing earthquakes due to displacement of soil and rock. Another SCP excavation team is sent to the site. 9/2/20. After many months of work, SCP excavation teams 05 and 04 are only able to reveal that the strong, impenetrable concrete-like shell of SCP-110 and investigation is halted upon further information becomes available. 25/7/2000, redacted. Due to the recent decoding and decrypting of the files contained in SCP-Redacted, schematics of 110 became available. Excavation teams 04 and 05 were sent back to site to locate the primary entrance of SCP-110. 4/8/2000, redacted. The entrance to SCP-110 has been discovered. The excavation teams are immediately met with what they can only be described as a foul odor. 110 has been an active Class 4 city, but due to the temporal accident, its core services were heavily damaged and the entire city was displaced. Work begins to cover up the existence of 110, its excavation, and the thousands-bed civilians inside. Layout of 110. The general layout of SCP-110 is essentially a series of concentric rings connected by tram, train, and other transportation lines. Surveyors have determined that SCP-110 has numerous sections and levels to it. All the specific functions, which shall be described in greater detail here. Core services. The numerous maps found posted in the high traffic area of SCP-110 labeled a central column and assorted utilities as core services. Upon exploration, which was limited due to heavy security restrictions, SCP Exploration Team 001 discovered a myriad of technologies that kept the underground city self-sufficient. Among these technologies were the series of matter reconstruction chambers, a combination reactor that provided energy from both nuclear fusion and geothermal sources, an elaborate water recycling system, and a large waste reconstitution area. The core is surrounded by numerous elevators and electrical stairwells. Numerous areas of core have been assigned to certain personnel for research. Atrium Colossus. This large open-domed area surrounds the core and apparently once held vegetation. The dome itself was a massive display, its composition undetermined. It is used solely to depict a sky at an intermediate time of day. Numerous tram lines span at least 3 stories of the atrium, all leading to and from the core. Personnel describe them as looking like spikes of spokes in a wheel. Upon discovery, the death toll per area was highest in this area, suggesting that it was a high-traffic part of the city. Commercial ring, a ring that was used to be small, independently owned shops and chains surrounding the Atrium Colossus. It is unknown whether or not the commercial products were manufactured within the city. However, due to the immense size of the core itself, the city's apparent self-reliance, it is highly likely that the core possesses a manufacturing area. Habitation Ring A. The styles of living spaces found there suggest that its inhabitants were the wealthiest of the city. Numerous documents found throughout the city seem to confirm the suspicions as well. Habitation Ring B. This entire ring is inhabited by the middle-class sections of 110. The area is still being searched for items of interest. To date, redacted SCPs have been recovered from this area. Habitation Ring C. This ring is inhabited by the lower-class citizens of 110. It is found in extremely poor conditions and currently being restored by the SCP maintenance teams 1 through 12. It is speculated that due to the locations furthest from the core, it suffered the most damage from the temporal disturbance. Damage to 110 increases proportionally in distance from the core. Atria Vegas. As so named by numerous maps, these atrias are only slightly smaller in the area of Atrium Colossus and is provided to estimate 80% of all foodstuffs. Population 110. These Atria were once open air spaces and thus suffered a great deal of damage upon arrival at site, and it's estimated that 110 has displaced at least 300 meters below its original position. Recovery of these atrials revealing advanced plant growth and technology that has useful applications. Atrium Annius. Atrium Annius is responsible for the remaining 20% of foodstuffs. The atrium is at least 20 stories and that only modeled up to natural environments the animals that were raised there. Each level had a tightly controlled climate and was divided into that different species for animals had no contact with one another. Some of the genetic labs attached to Atrium Animus were found intact and currently being exploited by personnel. Atria Recursus. These atria were used for sole purpose of recreation. They were found between the different habitat rings and typically consist of parks, artificial bodies of water, shopping malls, and other types of civilian recreation. These atria have been suggested to use SCPs that require an outdoor-like environment or a temperature humidity-controlled environment. Conversion plans have been drawn out. SCP Research Room. The city apparently had its utmost ring devoted to research of safe Euclid-class SCPs, although no documentation of the city is able to confirm this ring's existence. This suggests that the 110 was not originally designed to be a private sector, or rather be used to cover for SCPs currently unknown. This ring is highly dangerous, as it is, however, the most dangerous of all sectors of 110, thus potentially freeing some of the more dangerous SCPs. Only 2 members of SCP Foundation Team 03 have survived exploring the ring. Their accounts are contained in the document 110F. 110 has been architectural styles of 110. 110 has been confirmed to be a human origin, and all materials used in the constructs are terrestrial. The architectural style of SCP-110 seems to be varied depending on location. Main styles are listed below. Core surfaces, utilitarian, Atrium Colossus, Greco-Roman Revival, applies to all Atria, Commercial Ring Postmodern, Habitat Ring A, Art Decor, Habitat Ring B, Expressionist, Habitat Ring C, Utilitarian. SCP Research Ring, too damaged to determine. The different architectural styles of 110 create a problem when attempting to ascend the general era of which it was built. The earliest documents found claim the city was built redacted by the Redact Document 1-A. Last note. To those who find this document, my name is Stephen Kolsnik. Rather, my name was Stephen Kolsnik. I'll be dead by the time you read this. I was the chief engineer of the city, as well as the director of the Data Expunge program, contained within the outer containment and habitation rings. Due to the accident with an entity known as Data Expunge, the entire city of Redacted has been dislocated from its original area of Data Expunge. Nobody here knows where we are. From what I am able to observe, the outer rings have sustained heavy damage, and their contents are threatening the inhabitants of the inner rings, though they are surely doomed anyway, as the core has sustained heavy damage. 3 of the main life-sustaining surfaces contained within the core have damaged beyond reasonable repair. Any attempts to repair them will take more than the time we have left to live. Life support systems will go down soon. I would estimate that we have between 4 to 10 hours to function left. Whoever finds this, contain data expunged as best as you can. Do not follow the same mistakes as your containment procedures had. If you do, you shall regret it. And a list of notable SCPs found within 110. Particular note, it is vivarium that the SCP research room contains stable productive populations of SCP-392, SCP-5280, and SCP-4781, among other non-anomalous flora and fauna. Recovered documentation data expunged.